I am Ray, and poverty is demonic. Get out your holy water, because class is in session. Today I'm going to show you why poverty is demonic and what you can do to break free from lack and scarcity. I didn't realize I was such a poet. I didn't know it, but now I do. And now you will learn how to break free from poverty. Let us begin. You see, the root of all poverty is ignorance. What is ignorance? It's unconsciousness, but fundamentally it is darkness. A lack of awareness of the truth. And well, all of the demonic rules in the dark, they don't rule in the light. Because by definition, well, it's like, imagine a bacteria. They can't survive in an environment that has been sterilized and purified and cleaned. The more you live in ignorance, the more you experience poverty, the more you are a vessel for the demonic to work through you like a puppet. You see this puppet right here?
Every video he violates me, puts his hand in my crack.
Look, that is inappropriate. We cannot be talking about this in a YouTube video. Where are your manners?
Where are your manners, perv?
Look, no need for judgment. We're getting off track here. The demons wear you like this little puppet and do as they please. And think about it. Think about all the people living in the ghetto, living in poverty around the world. That's where all the crime is. That's where all the negativity is. The fear, the worry, the violence. That of which the demonic feeds off of, because poverty forces you into separation, and separation is fundamentally ignorance. So separation is ignorance, unity is truth. And this is very literal. As I often say, billions of years ago, a star exploded its guts across the galaxy, and eventually those guts became our star, called the Sun. Most of the hydrogen and helium went to that. All the heavier, denser elements turned into the rocky planets, and the rest of the hydrogen and helium went to the gas giants. But fundamentally, it's all the same one star stuff. It's all energy, and energy is frequency and vibration. But this kind of energy, or this kind of frequency and vibration, it's not your typical way of thinking about it. For example, the atoms in an ice cube are vibrating slowly so it manifests as solid. But when you apply heat, you raise the vibration of the water molecules, it melts, it starts to flow, turns into a liquid. You continue raising the vibration, raising the heat, turns into gas. That's normal vibration and frequency. But this is frequency of existence. So the sun is made up of the same energy as the earth. But the sun is vibrating at a different frequency of existence. If you slow the frequency of the sun down, slowed it, it's not going to turn into the earth like water would turn into an ice cube. So just a different way of thinking about it. So too, you are made up of that same stardust, that same energy. And so it's all the same one stuff. Therefore, objectively speaking, unity is the true nature of reality. But we do not experience unity. We experience separation. And that is what, the Bible was trying to tell us. We exist in the fallen state of ignorance. After we ate the fruit of ignorance. Okay, might as well go into the story a little bit. In the beginning, Adam and Eve were at one with God. They were living in paradise because they were in unity. They were living in truth. But then they ate from the tree of knowledge and good and evil, which is really the fruit of ignorance. What is good and evil? It's separation. Two-ness. So the snake said, "Eat this fruit and you will be as God." which means you will have God's knowledge. But because they were not God, they were mere mortals, human beings, they could not handle the infinite knowledge. So instead of it becoming, making them aware, it made them ignorant. And the first thing that happened was that they experienced shame, and they covered themselves up for being naked, because for the first time, they experienced a sense of separate self, that which did not exist before. And you see in the enlightened masters, at least some of them, they run around naked because they have no sense of separate self. They have no shame, guilt, whatever. Now, I'm not saying for you to go around running naked. That's not the point, although it might be. The point is, we experience poverty and lack and scarcity because we are living in ignorance, and ignorance is separation. And the demons use separation to feed, because all things that are demonic, they're like a black hole that consume and give nothing in return. Like a reptile. A reptile's whole purpose is just to eat other things to sustain its own life. So too, demons are like little parasites that feed off your life juices. Steal your energy, like a battery in the Matrix. What I call the monster mind. So, this is how it works. The monster mind gets you to feed your sense of separate self so that you can dive deeper in ignorance. And at the far end of the spectrum is pure evil. And then less far on that spectrum is just selfishness or ego. So we have this ego, which is our center of experience. It's who we believe we are, our identification with a separate self. And this comes with all kinds of stories and beliefs and ideas and thoughts about the world and about ourselves. So, for example, if your outer experience is that of poverty or lack or scarcity or struggle, you have a story in your mind about it. I am struggling. I don't want to go through this. I don't want to deal with this. Why is this happening to me? Life sucks. Why am I born in this capitalist society? The reptilians, they're taking over. All kinds of psychological drama about what you're going through. And that's how the monster mind feeds. It's just loving it like a buffet. You feed the negativity, you feed all of it, your negative thoughts and your negative emotions. And the monster mind gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And as you feed the monster mind, you experience more fear, more resentment, more anger, more negative emotion. You grow closer to hell. And this is the key right here. Separation is ignorance, but it is also hell. And unity is heaven. Remember Adam and Eve? They were in paradise. I didn't finish that story. They fell from unity into duality, separation, and were cursed, banished from paradise to live in a hell realm of struggle, endless struggle and toil and pain and suffering. That is the fallen state. The fallen state is that of ignorance, and human beings have been living this way since the beginning of time. That is why you struggle. That is why people live in lack and scarcity and poverty. That is why people think that we're living in some kind of evil prison. It's the archons. They got us. The world is run by the devil or the demons or whatever. Just look at all the suffering. And it's all just one big fugazi. You know what fugazi means? It means it's not real. It's an illusion. It's all fake. It's all false. Not that the world itself is false or an illusion. Our interpretation of it is the illusion. That is what the Matrix is. This whole idea that there's evil people in power and that, we're a slave to BlackRock and the big corporations buying up all the houses. Then it's the capitalist piggies who are ruining everything, cutting down the rainforests. It's the demons. It's all just fake. The whole idea that, I gotta struggle to make money and money sucks and, if only I didn't have to make money and have to work my life away, it's all just fake. But we believe it is real because we are living in ignorance. And so that is the reality that we experience. We're separated from the truth that is the light That is the source of all abundance. And you can tell how much you're living in ignorance by how much heaven you experience or don't experience. So just ask yourself, how much are you suffering on a daily basis? How often do you experience peace, love, joy, abundance? If the answer is not a lot, well, that tells you how much you're living in ignorance. You see? How much are you living from your ego that lives from all of these psychological concepts and stories about whatever? The only thing that keeps you stuck in poverty is your belief in it. And because people are living from their senses, they could not fathom anything else. It doesn't make any sense. You look out at your life and you say, yeah, there's poverty there, so I must be living in poverty, right? No. You are living in ignorance, and therefore poverty is a result. And so people spend their whole lives struggling with the darkness, struggling with poverty, struggling with lack and scarcity, and it doesn't work. Because it's like trying to throw punches in a dark room to fight the darkness. You do nothing but toil your life away. It's a rigmarole, it's fugazi. You can't experience abundance, true abundance, by struggling with poverty. You have to focus on abundance. You can't be focused on all the things that are going wrong. And you can tell every time you experience suffering, it's because you're thinking about yourself. You're thinking about you and what you're going through and the story of your life. And that is what is causing the resentment. It's not actually what is happening to you. It's your judgments about what is happening to you. And if you were to take away those judgments, you would return to the natural state of abundance, which is already present, without any effort. The reason it takes effort for people to find success in life is because they're living in a low vibrational state, trying to attract high vibrational things. They are not in alignment, so it's like they're swimming upstream. It takes effort, it takes discipline, it takes consistency. When in reality, all you have to do is be in alignment with abundance, which means truth, heaven, unity. You can't break free from poverty by fighting the darkness. All you have to do is turn on the lights. Allow more light in, because the light is the source of abundance. And that light is in you. As Jesus said, the kingdom of God is in you, but have you been looking? No, I think not. I think you have been struggling in your outer world, dealing with the mess of life, getting nowhere. It's just, how most people live. Struggle, 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 and then die. Better luck next time. And because the truth, the true nature of reality is so radical, it is not possible for most people to understand. It's literally the story of the Matrix. We experience the world and it just seems so real to us that it is this way. And yet, the true nature of reality is so much not that way that we couldn't even imagine. It's also the flat earth motif. People think, oh, well, the earth is actually flat. It's symbolically flat. Meaning that reality, the true nature of reality, is not that we are little human beings just on a planet rotating through the world, the universe. Well, the planet can't rotate through the world, so how's that going to work? The scientific, objective nature of reality is not the true nature of reality. It's just the surface level. But life is like a stage in which we, the actors, are performing these roles. And we, living in ignorance, believe that we are the characters and have forgotten that we are the actors. Everyone is like a method actor. They believe they are the mask that they are wearing. That is the ego. And spiritual awakening is realizing that you are not the mask, that we're all one, that it's all one life, and you are not separate from that life. And the more you realize this, the more the natural state of abundance is just revealed. Because you're allowing more light in. You're becoming more aware of the truth. And the true nature of reality is you are the source of abundance. And that your external circumstances are irrelevant. Doesn't matter if you're in the Great Depression. It's all irrelevant. All of it. Doesn't matter if there are no jobs. Doesn't matter if you live in Nigeria, God forbid. Literally irrelevant, all of it. Except it is relevant to the degree in which you are stuck in ignorance. Because the more you're stuck in ignorance, the more you believe your outer circumstances are the true nature of reality. The illusion is, here I am, this little ego, human being, dealing with my life stuff, trying to escape my problems, trying to overcome my current circumstances, trying to break free from poverty. And that is not true. It's just a tiny fraction of the truth. Your body is just a tiny aspect of what you are. It's not the whole thing. But the true nature of what you are is spirit. And the true nature of the game of life is that you are a spirit incarnating into this form to work out karmic attachments, to free your consciousness from the prison of this matrix, of this illusion, of this belief in separation. Like the water trapped in the ice cube, the energy has become dense and stuck. And through the suffering of life, those attachments they fall away and we become free. And we float off to the heavenly realms. It's this journey from separation to unity, from darkness to light, from ignorance to truth. And the more we live in separation and ignorance, the more we experience hell, the more we are under the influence of the forces of the demonic. And think about when it comes to money. Separation. I am living in lack and scarcity. So I'm going to take what is yours because I want it, I need it, I'm struggling, I need to survive. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go steal things. I'm going to go rob other people. Not me personally, but, the puppet. We think that we can take from others without hurting ourselves, and it's not possible. It's like you might ask yourself, well, why is stealing wrong? Is it just wrong because, some spiritual authority says it's wrong? It's wrong because it reinforces separation. It reinforces ignorance. And whatever you do to somebody else in this life, you will experience that karmic retribution. It is not possible to take from someone else without also losing something yourself. But think about unity. If you see that we are all one, when you give to someone, you give some money to that hobo, you're also giving to yourself. Giving and receiving are just two ends of the same one thing. Every time you give, you receive. And every time you take, you have something taken from you. The simplest way to break free from lack and scarcity. You can understand from this, I call it the behave matrix. Be, behave, have. And most people are living on the slave side of this equation. I want money, so I'm going to work really hard to get money. Story of our lives. Not my life, but most people's lives. Or, I want health. I'm going to force myself to go to the gym to get health. I want health. Diet to get health. This is why no one can sustain anything. The only way to have success on the slave side of this equation is to be hyper-disciplined and hyper-consistent. These things are not bad. They're not wrong. But what's the point of rowing really hard when you're in the wrong boat? You're just spinning your wheels if boats have wheels. This is also why people who win the lottery are always worse off afterwards. Because you receive, but reality is always reflecting back to you your energy, your identity, who you are. So if you receive something but you are not the one who deserves it or who can hold that energy, life will revert back to whatever your default state is. If you are fundamentally living from the state of lack and scarcity, it doesn't matter how hard you work. You will always return to zero again and again and again. And you see it happen. People work their whole lives and can never get ahead because they never address the root of the problem. And yet, if you live from the state of abundance, it doesn't matter how much you don't work. You can return to zero again and again and again, but money will just flow into your life effortlessly. Because life is a game of energy, frequency, and vibration. It's not a game for realists. It's not a game for logic. In a mad world, the realists lose, and all the logical people ruin the earth because they take the magic out of life. Life is a game designed for creative people, and it punishes logical people all the time. Just think about the betas. No big booty Latino wants a beta. Whatever it is you want in this life, you have to become the source of it before it shows up. Because even if it does show up, you will not be able to hold it. Like, you can force reality to be however you want it to be. You can bend it, try to warp it around, but more often than not, it's just going to come back and smack you in the face. Because you can't hold it there forever. Eventually, life is going to put pressure on you, and you're going to be tired and exhausted and let go, and then it's going to smack you in the face. So force and control is not a viable option. It's like playing the game of life as a noob. You don't know how to play the game, which is most people. Again, there's nothing wrong with working hard and being disciplined and consistent. These are great things, but if that's your only tool, those are your only tools in your toolbox, you are a noob at playing the game of life. And those who are most advanced play the game of life from an energetic level. Instead of living as a monkey, like most people, they live from the God state, and therefore are able to command reality with their words and their thoughts to be as they want it to be. You stop living like a beggar, like a slave, and you enter into your royal consciousness. Instead of living at the effect of your reality, you become the cause. Because the truth is, you're already the cause. You're just unconsciously creating a life you don't want. As Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. It's like, why is this happening to me? Why is this person in my life? Why do I hate my job? It's all coming from you. That is why being a victim is the worst thing you can do in life. Because it causes you to stay stuck. It's distracting you from the root of the problem that is your energy. So you have to close your eyes, stop looking at the world and all the evidence, and feel abundant now. Because you can. Because all of your feelings in this life come from one place. Your thoughts, what you choose to focus on, your mind. All your happy chemicals are created from your mind. All of your sad chemicals are created in your mind. It has nothing to do with what happens to you. Two people can go through the same exact situation. One, it destroys them, and the other, it strengthens them. Because of the difference of their attitude, of what they focus on. So, how do you live in abundance now? How do you feel abundant now? Well, it's simple. Life is already perfectly balanced between negativity and positivity. There's infinite lack and scarcity everywhere. And there's infinite abundance everywhere. So the question isn't, well, is this true? It's, is this serving me? Because if you experience lack and scarcity, if that's what you see, it's a whole ocean, infinitely deep. So the question is, well, how deep do you want to go? Do you want to go a little bit? You want to dip your toes in that ocean? Or do you want to dive in head first and complain and focus on all the ways that life is going wrong? Do you want to continue the psychological story of, why is this happening to me? Woe is me, I'm suffering. This person did this thing to me. My boss doesn't give me enough vacation hours. And I grind and I grind and I grind. All I am is a burger. Or you can focus on all the abundance that is already present in your life, and that will cause you to feel abundant. And the more often you can feel abundance, that just becomes the natural state of who you are. Success in life, no matter what it is, it's the same destination for everyone. It's just how do you get there? Because if I grind and I grind and I grind to get what I want, when I finally get what I want, guess what? It makes me feel differently about myself. It changes who I am on a fundamental level. But there's no guarantee. And if I lose that stuff, well, I might just return back to lack and scarcity. And yet, you can focus on becoming the version of you in which abundance is natural and everything else is irrelevant. What you do is irrelevant. Because the abundant version of you naturally engages in abundant actions, which leads to an abundant life. And the lack and scarcity version of you naturally takes the wrong actions that lead to more poverty. It's not magic, it's just cause and effect. So you got to become aware of the thoughts that you think and the words that you speak on a daily basis. The first step is awareness. Because if you're not realizing all the ways you're already creating your reality, you will continue to do it unconsciously. Every time you catch yourself thinking negative thoughts about money, about survival, about whatever, you have the option to, in that moment, become aware and consciously choose to think and focus on something else. And if you don't think about something else, well, the automatic negative programming is going to continue to keep you a slave for the rest of your life. Nothing changes until you change. And the great news is, your body doesn't know the difference between what is true in actuality and what is true in your imagination. Because they're both equally true. It's like when you're in a dream. Everything that happens to you in the dream is real to you when it happens. You forget everything else in your life, and you think that dream reality is the true nature of reality. Because your body responds the same. It's all one reality. There is no separation between the inner world and the outer world. That is why our body can't tell the difference. So, through your imagination, you visualize and think only of the life that you want. And you take your attention away from all that you do not want and all the evidence that comes into contrary with what you want. You use it as an opportunity to reaffirm your desired reality. Because when you see what you don't want, you automatically know exactly what you do want. You just want the opposite. But what do most people do? This sucks. I'm in pain. So all I'm going to focus on is my pain. Therefore, they create more pain, more suffering, more struggle. It's all about how you interpret reality. And you can interpret reality literally any which way you want, because it's equally balanced. As it is said, the mind can make a heaven out of hell and a hell out of heaven. Doesn't matter what happens. Every negative situation has something positive about it, and every positive situation has potential negativity. And if you have a negative attitude, you're going to focus on negativity by default. If you have a negative self-image, a negative identity, you're going to focus on negativity by default. So you have to change who you are. Consciously change your identity to be in alignment with what you want, and then the actions take care of themselves. Like you'll see, once you start feeling more abundant, you start focusing on all the abundance already present, you'll get thoughts spontaneously of new opportunities, new possibilities, new business ideas that are now in alignment with your new energy of abundance, that were not previously accessible because your energy was in lack and scarcity. So all you could receive is lack and scarcity energy. It's like your mind is a radio antenna. Are you tuned into lack and scarcity radio, or are you tuned into abundance radio? You're not going to receive the abundance radio information if you're tuned into lack and scarcity. You can only be tuned into one station at a time. And your thoughts determine what radio station you're tuned into. And it is your emotions that are like the dial that turns that radio knob. Literally, all you have to do is feel abundant now. Feel abundant now. Feel abundant more often. So instead of doing the most to try and get what we want, we do to become, to be, to manage our state of energy, to manage our emotions. Everything that you do is designed to shape your identity into the version of you that you want to be. Everything else is irrelevant. All that you do is designed to manage your state of being in the present moment. All of life takes care of itself automatically. The only reason we live in manual mode is because we are consciously trying to struggle to get what we want from the ego state. But when you just be, you focus on being, feeling abundant now, feeling good now, feeling more peace, feeling more joy, feeling more love. Instead of thinking that you have to get some stuff in order to feel that way, you can feel that way now. That is when the stuff comes. We have it backwards. We think, oh, well, once I get a relationship, then I'll feel love. No, it's the opposite. You feel love first, then the relationship comes. Because no matter what, if you feel fundamentally unloving or unworthy, or you got low self-esteem, you can force a relationship, but it will fail. Because you are not the one who can sustain it. And yet if you become more loving, more worthy, you don't have to try. The partner comes into your life effortlessly. Same thing with money. Same thing with literally everything else in life. You become the source of what you seek because you already are. Newsflash. And the experience feels effortless because now you are in flow with the harmony of life. Or should I say, you are in harmony with the flow of life. That's better. You're no longer swimming upstream. You're allowing life to take care of you, which it's already trying to do. Think about the God example. We all feel separate from God. It's like, where's God? Why is God not in my life taking care of me? I feel like God has abandoned me. Well, no. Where's God gonna hide? Truly, God's too big. God has to hide in plain sight. We have a veil over our eyes. God is already everywhere. Because God is life and life is everywhere. Therefore, the source of abundance is right here, right now. It's always here. We just don't have eyes to see because we're living in ignorance. We can never be separated from God. We can only believe that we are. We can never be separated from abundance. We can only believe that we are. Therefore, you are already in heaven. You're just believing that you're not. Heaven is the default state. Everything in life is already coming to you naturally. Everything that you desire, everything that you seek is also seeking you. Life is already trying to give you everything that you want. You just have to get out of the way. That is all. This is your only job. Your job is not to struggle. Your only job is to become in alignment with what you desire. Life does all of the heavy lifting. It creates miracles in your life. Opportunities that you think are impossible. Things you could have never done living from the state of the ego. That is how life was truly meant to be lived. Because now you can experience effortless success. You can become in alignment with your soul's purpose. You can attract anything you want without years of struggle. You can enjoy the journey instead of obsessing over the destination. Newsflash again, there is no final destination. Where are you going? People don't remember this. Everything that you do in this life will just go away. There is no legacy. There is no leaving a lasting impression. 3,000 years from now, everyone will be forgotten. So what is the point? The point is not to get anything out of life. It's irrelevant. The point is to experience life itself. as an actor, expressing your life for its own enjoyment, not for some kind of end result. That is why detachment is so important. Because when you really, really want something, not only are you living in ignorance, because you believe you don't have it, you don't realize that you are already the source of what you want, but you're also giving the energy of lack and scarcity. I don't have what I want. But the abundant version of you is not so desperately trying to get what they want. They are neutral about it because they already have it. Or they are in gratitude, they're in appreciation. That is the secret. You appreciate what you want as if you already have it now, because you do. And the more you can do that successfully, the quicker it will materialize in your life. And if you want to transform your life, join the Spiritual Rebels community. I'm coming out with a program soon that will help you absolutely transform your reality. Be on the lookout. Much peace and many blessings. And remember, just be.